there is something in our makeup that's not in our genetic makeup, that's in our spiritual makeup, in our soul. I feel like the same way that we physically, our bodies have a very unique biological makeup, and there's our DNA and all of that. I feel like it's the same with our soul. I feel like our souls have intricate layers to them that serve whatever function they are meant to. And also I feel like they are so unique and so coded to who we are. You'll never find two people that are exactly the same, even if they're twins. I believe that our soul is where we carry the genetic makeup. The same way, okay, this is crazy, mind blown. Okay, sorry, I'm just ranting, but like the same way, okay, sorry. I'm really excited. The same way that in our genetic makeup, biologically, we carry traits of our mom and our dad, and you see these things come out. I feel like on a soul level, internally, it is the same when it comes to God. We inherit our traits and our characteristics on a soul level from God, because God is our Father, God is our creator. The same way how mom plus dad equals this, God is everything within this. And we also have the beautiful human experience of being raised by our parents, and we also take on those traits, but those are not the traits that we are born with. On a soul level, the qualities and characteristics that we have that make us so unique and so rare in this world don't come from our parents. Yes, a lot of us take on the generational pressures that come from those who came before us, but when you really strip yourself down raw to your core, the way that you are created spiritually has nothing to do with your biological makeup. It doesn't matter what shade, color, this, that, whatever you are made in the image of God. Your soul, if you want to compare it to biology and genetics, is genetically coded to be a part of God. You are, like, literally, we are all cut, we're different pieces from one fabric. We are all a part of God in different ways, and that's on a soul level. And when you reach that level of understanding yourself, not just here, but like here, it all starts to make sense. So I hope that makes sense to you guys, because the way that came to me, it makes sense. But yeah, the way, our DNA is coded where we can be traced back to our parents. I feel like our soul on the same level, it all comes from the same source, and that is God. And I think there are certain traits that each of us have that are so unique and so tailored to the way God wanted us to be, and being able to live a life where you believe, okay, my personal belief is that within feeling this, I think that's the first time I've ever been able to articulate that. So I'm so glad I caught it on camera. But with that being said, I believe that every single interaction that we have with other people or relationships that we have, we are supposed to seek that out within them. We're supposed to find what piece of God's ginormous infinite puzzle that they are, because we can always learn and we can always gain something from everyone else without feeling like we have to be them. We don't have to do exactly what everybody else does. At the same time, you can feel inspired, you can feel connected, because once again, we all come from the same, I'm just gonna, like, puzzle is just the easiest way to put it, but like, we all come from the same source. So because we share that quality about ourselves, when you find somebody that has even like a slightly similar coding as you, totally different, like I said, there are no two souls that are the same, but when there's certain traits and qualities that are included in their little soul recipe that are also components of yours, it is the greatest, most beautiful feeling ever. You feel like you are looking at yourself, you feel seen, you feel understood, you feel at peace. It is one of the greatest experiences I've had, and I constantly seek it out. It doesn't matter where I am. Even just walking my dog right now by the lake, I ran into a beautiful couple and I'm like, I see it. I see it, I feel it, I love it. Thank you for, you know, I don't know. I feel like in every single interaction that we have, whether it be good or bad, we can see that. And I feel like with a lot of us, we go through life and we take the biological route, if that makes sense. We go through life and in a lot of ways, we feel like we are limited by our biological makeup, by our environmental factors and things that are quite literally of the world. And we in turn start to seek that out in ways, and it takes true soul work. Like, you have to deconstruct your entire identity to be able to understand that none of that matters. Like, I feel like so many people, because they see these traits in other people and they don't necessarily know who they are, and their family puts pressure on them to be what they are meant to be, they live lives and start to wear masks and I feel like a lot of people wear masks in different areas of their lives because of that, because there's certain expectations and limitations that you feel almost preset inherently to follow, and that comes from family, that comes from friends, that comes from social economic factors and your environment and politics. Like, there are so many things that are quite literally of the world that make us feel like we need to shrink and make different parts of ourselves more digestible. And in psychology, there's a term called masking, where basically you hide your authentic self behind layers and layers of conditioning. You spend your entire life wanting to work towards these things, and there's so many systems. I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get into the educational system and like the legal, there's so many things. There's so many barriers for us that make us change who we are just to, sorry, I'm on a rant. Okay, but anyways, so we wear these masks and we don't realize we end up growing so far from who we are on a spiritual level. We change the way we look, we change the way we talk, we chase different professions, we chase money, we chase luxury. There's different ways that we measure ourselves in this world, and we end up wearing all these masks and becoming different, like taking on different versions of ourselves that we were never meant to be, because we never had the chance to actually experience and embrace ourselves on a soul level. Like, I'll do more story times, but I've definitely had many experiences in my life where I had no choice but to fall back on my foundation. And that's not who I am in a biological way. I mean, like, who I am on a soul level, who I am to God, where I'm like, I have nothing without that. And I had to rebuild that foundation. I had to understand it, and I had to strip it down and understand where my insecurities and everything like that comes from. But anyways, we mask ourselves and we change who we naturally are just to fit in. And when we change who we are naturally just to fit in, it disconnects us further and further from our purpose. It's like we're putting up walls between who we are meant to be just so we can chase the external validation that comes from having a certain job, being in a relationship, having friends. There are so many times in our lives that because of this, we hold on to friendships and relationships that drain us because we feel like our purpose is tied to that. We feel like all these traits and qualities about ourselves, whether it be you're an athlete or this, that, whatever, you have worked so hard to become this version of you that if you let go of that relationship, that friendship, whatever it may be, that you'll lose that aspect of yourself, when truly to your core, you are who you are for a reason. If there are certain things that connect you to other people, maybe that's not who you're meant to be. Maybe you were changing who you were just so that you wouldn't have to feel that loneliness. But when you go through that, when you experience loneliness and start to enjoy being alone and understand who you are on a soul level, like everything else, you drown out the world and you become comfortable and start to understand who you are on a soul level, not your achievements, not even your own name that your parents gave you. Like, you just get to know yourself on a soul level. It is, I don't have the words for it. I don't, but I hope everybody experiences it at some point or another in their lives. Yeah. So we settle for surface level relationships because we've grown so accustomed to wearing these masks, changing ourselves in ways that make us more attractive and more interesting to everybody else, when deep down it doesn't necessarily align with who we are. And when we feel disaligned in our lives, it's because we're settling. It's because we're seeking relationships that don't align with our core. We're with people that we're not equally yoked with, whether it be friends, whether it be partners, whatever. So many. Oh my god, why is it zoomed in? My camera is being crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, everything is being crazy on my camera. I don't know why. I feel like this is not meant to get out, but basically, if you don't take the time to water your soul, to tend to your soul, to really understand who you are on a spiritual level, who you are meant to be, and figure out the things that really bring you happiness, you will end up in relationships and in situations that don't nourish your soul. If you are here, like myself, I quite, like, without hesitation, I know I am a creative soul. I know that from when I was a child, the way that I used to play with sticks, dirt, whatever, like the way that I would deconstruct things and put things back together, the way I would write stories, and when I would listen to other people and be able to almost like paint their lives in my mind. That when I listen to music, I get carried away. I know without hesitation, without question, I am a creative. I gravitate towards people that have a creative nature, no matter what it is, whether they're into photography, whether they're into the visual arts, it doesn't matter what they are. That is a core part of who I am, no matter what. So when I feel like I'm in alignment with somebody, it's because they still possess those traits. And because of that, I naturally gravitate towards people like that. If I were living a life, which for quite some period of time I was, when I was in a relationship, I wasn't nourishing that aspect of myself, you honestly will feel so drained, and you'll feel like you don't have purpose because you're not working towards that. You're not engaging with individuals who also seek a similar path for themselves. And you become stagnant, you become unhappy, and it's just not enough. It's not fulfilling. So for myself, after my relationship ended, I really poured into understanding who I am on a soul level. Not my past, not who I want to be in the future, but who I am and who I've always been, the traits that I've always carried, the things that excite me, the relationships I have, and also being able to find people that I see similar, not necessarily similar qualities in, but when you know you're in alignment with somebody spiritually on a soul level, you will know. Even when it comes to myself, like I know when somebody believes in God and I don't sound like a complete and total whack job when I'm talking to them about certain encounters that I've had or certain thoughts that I have and things like that. I know that I'm in alignment with somebody that I connect with on a soul level, because there are certain things you won't even feel like you have to explain to them, whether it be your past, whether it be your trauma. They won't look at you as that. They will look at you as who you are on a soul level, and that is something that also will bring peace, comfort, and give them almost permission to be themselves. They won't have to hesitate, whether it be romantic, whether it be a friend, whether it be a family member. For myself, I love all my family, but when it comes to understanding me on a soul level, my grandma is that person. Like, there are certain things that her and I can communicate without words. I will read a book, I will feel something, and I will immediately have to tell her, because since we're made of the same fabric with a very similar coded DNA on a spiritual level, she will get it and she will feel things in a way that if I show somebody else, they'll look at me like I have 6 heads. They will not be able to digest it the way that we did. They won't be able to understand that. And I found that at this point in my life, I feel like there was like a major awakening years ago that I had that just put me on a path where it's like almost everyone I come in contact to, I see those pieces. And when you've been starved of that for so long, starved of feeling like your soul is being seen, heard, and understood, it is the most satisfying feeling ever. And I love it. It's hard to explain. I feel like this video is quite a rant. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if anything makes sense. But yeah, for me, my turning point was hitting rock bottom and having to really understand who I am. And that didn't take me looking at certain factors like, yes, I'm a mom, yes, I'm a daughter, yes, I'm biracial, yes, I'm all these things, but who I am on a soul level, the things that excite me, the things that always have, and the things I've been drawn towards, and the way that I view the world, the perspective and the lens that I was given is one that is so rare and so unique and so valuable. And I love finding spaces, places, and people that nourish that allow me to speak my mind freely, and also give me so much more knowledge. And I said it in my last video, it's like when you're around the right people, it's like they're holding up a mirror to who you are. There are parts of ourselves that we forget because we've been so conditioned, because we've been masking for so long. But when you're around the right people, you can't even do that because they see you on a soul level. They understand you on a soul level. There's no hiding because they are made of a very similar, I don't even know. They are made with the same magic. They are made with the same beauty and traits, and it's also so unique and so customized to them and to who they are. And it's funny because you'll have certain friends that you guys, it's like you went through similar situations, different font, whatever. God is so intentional in that way where you have people that will go through similar experiences because their souls were also meant to learn a same lesson but in their own way. And when you're brought together, it just makes sense. For myself, with me starting I started as a support group for single moms, and that is something that has brought so much beauty and just like happiness and peace in my life, because it is a space where there are so many women that have been through their own experiences. They all have their own testimonies. They all have been through whatever, but on a soul level, because we have been through almost, I feel like it's like a phase of deconditioning. Like everything you know is stripped from you and you just have to find your foundation. It's something you can't, if you haven't been through it, you won't understand it. And finding a community of people that on a soul level see you, hear you, and understand you in a way where you don't feel like they're gonna pity you or judge you, because we've all been through it, even if one of us have had it in an extremely different, sometimes crazy way. It's like, I don't know. To be seen is to be loved. To be loved is to be seen. And yeah, I don't know. This is a rant. I guess I'm just still feeling really good. I had an amazing, my camera died, so I guess with whatever little battery is left on my backup, I just want to wrap things up. But like I was saying, to be seen is to be loved, and to be loved is to be seen. So it is so important to find whatever community you feel like aligns with your soul, and there are multiple communities for that. There are so many different traits and qualities and spaces where we belong. And like I was saying before, I feel like if we're going back to the metaphor of the puzzle, there are infinite puzzle pieces when it comes to all of God's creations, even just in regards to humans. And when you find people that have pieces that connect with yours, it's like you get a better picture of what life is about. You get a better picture of what your purpose is about. You see things within yourself, the details that you may have overlooked. When you find the right people, it becomes so obvious and so evident. And yeah, I feel like we should go out every day and seek whatever peace everyone that you interact with has within them. And I think that's so beautiful. And you can't do that by only paying attention to the physical, by only making friends with people you find, making friends or seeking relationship with people that you find to be physically attractive or wealthy, or, you know, just base things off of status and all these superficial traits. It's so important to be able to go deeper and connect with people on a soul level. And I'm telling you, trust me, when you are looking and you actively seek that out, you will find pieces or people that connect with you in such a beautiful way. And yeah, I like to view life, the world, humankind as one massive puzzle. God is the only one that can see what it looks like. God is the only one that has the view from up above to see exactly how all these pieces fit and what role they play and what purpose they have. So yeah, seek that out for yourself and you will never go wrong. You might find people that you don't fit with. You might find that, you know, there are too many differences, but at the end of the day, knowing that they are also a piece in this life and God created them with so much purpose and a place that you may not ever understand, because it's not our job to always understand, is a really cool thing. I don't know. I think in such a metaphorical sense, that's also part of my soul for sure, because I can't turn that part of me off. But yeah, I don't really know where this video is going. I don't know where it started. It all started with a thought for sure. And yeah, the ability to even think is just such a beautiful thing. And that is something that we get from God. Our ability to think, our ability to see, our ability to do all these things. That doesn't come from our parents. That comes from God. So remember that. And in the same way where my mom and my dad coming together and creating, I don't know, I think it's so beautiful that from a I can't even speak. I think it's so beautiful that from a biological point of view, we are a combination of countless love stories and so much history, and there's so much that we can uncover just by looking back, looking forward, and understanding ourselves from that point. But it is also so important to be able to take that time and look inwards as well. And there are so many ways to do that. I feel like there are many people have scratched the surface in different ways, and whether they're here or not, they've left their puzzle pieces for us to be able to connect that to. And I think that is so amazing. But yeah, figure out what piece you are in this puzzle of life, and also look around and you might realize that there are so many people that surround you that add to that. We're all put together in God's image, so that's so cool. I think that's also why, this is my personal opinion, so if you disagree, whatever. But when I was younger, I always thought it was so weird that in the Bible we were referred to as brothers and sisters, because my naive mind was like, oh, well, we get married, like that's so weird. But when you truly think that God is the father of our souls, not just like us in a physical sense, our souls, where we came from him and we returned to him afterwards, we are brothers and sisters. So yeah, just a little food for thought. I don't know. I hope something in this video resonated with you, because I don't know, I feel like it was a pretty big revelation for me, for sure. And I have those little weird epiphany moments where I'm like, aha, now I can explain what I was thinking. Anyways, that is the end of my rant. So, as always, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I love you. Bye.